What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And this video is going to be branching off from the video that I may have uploaded a couple of days ago, or yesterday. I can't remember when I uploaded it. Either way, this video is going to be talking about Kizuna characters, and specifically the free-to-play Kizuna characters that you can go ahead and spend your Kizuna insignia for, the free-to-play currency, to in turn exchange them for free-to-play characters from previous past Kizuna clashes. Now, this video is mainly geared towards newer players and kind of giving them the ideas of what are the best units to be picking up with their Kizuna insignia. The thing about it is that the insignia are a limited resource. You only get a certain amount of them per Kizuna clash, so you really have to spend them correctly, right? You have to pick up the right units for your account. So hopefully this video gives that insight to you players, so you guys understand which are the best Kizuna clash characters you should be investing in first. So I did upload a video either yesterday or a couple days ago talking about the best treasure map characters you guys should be picking up. Let's go ahead and have a look at the Kizuna clash this time around. So we are here on Tier Maker to give you guys a bit of an insight as to what I think about all of this. Now, some of these characters here are not all just the free-to-play Kizuna characters. Some of these characters were like Kizuna units that you could get that were just support characters. Their main use was to be used as a support character. Namely, this first character, Bartolomeo. He's pretty bad, don't need to worry about him. Now, the secondary one, this is the first mainline boss unit, which was the Zoro and Sanji unit. This is a hard one to say, because Zoro and Sanji, while they are interesting, they're kind of outdated, I feel. I mean, they're a 2.75 times attack boost to the fighter and slasher, but you have to be at full HP, and if you're not at full HP, it's still a 2 times attack boost. The captain ability is still usable, but it's only for fighter and shooter, right? So you are a bit restricted there, and considering there are so many other better units in the game, I think I'm going to leave them at tier 2 for now. Unfortunately, I don't think they're like worthwhile investments. I think there's definitely better units that you can invest in, characters that not only give you a boost, but also have really good utility on top of it. That's the main thing about these units, and that's the ones you should be looking out for. Now, we have 2 support units back to back here with Perospero, who I think is a top tier unit, all blocker for cerebral units, very nice unit. And then this what's her face, Margaret, she's a really nice support unit as well, allowing you to attach to a quick unit and essentially being a quick version of that free to play VV, giving you a matching slot on the final stage, but it's only for quick units, so it's nice either way, just having access to a support like that. But then we got free to play Boa Hancock. She's fine. I mean, she's a health cutter, generates matching slots, well, not really matching slots, but can do orb shuffle, and then also gives you a chain lock. It's nothing amazing, but she's fine. She's kind of like middle of the road, not really worth picking up. I think Magellan is an interesting one though. Magellan does like a poison. He applies poison at the start of each stage, kind of similar to like a Kaido effect. Instead of doing a health cut, it applies poison instead. It's interesting, especially if you can partner it up with Legend Reiju, for example. But I think honestly he's probably a little bit lower just because he's so niche. You just don't need this unit. Sabo I think is also kind of like a middle tier unit. He's nothing amazing. Even when he first came out, he wasn't like that good. I think Shirahoshi's actually not bad though. I think Shirahoshi's kind of like, again, like maybe just a little bit better than the middle. She allows you to get matching slots. She allows you to get multiple turns of an orb boost. She's more centered around sight and inter teams. Really nice unit that came out during Christmas celebration with Chopper. The Kizuna Okiku, who I think, man, Kizuna Okiku, I almost want to put in tier 0, but there haven't been too many instances nowadays where you need to go ahead and use Kizuna Okiku. She has really good utility, and she has double special activation. She's a Okiku unit, so she gets access to a couple of decent supports. So I think Okiku is an interesting choice, but you may want to see what other characters we talk about first. I think that Marco and Ace is a pretty nice unit. I think that this unit allows, you know, really good strength teams to build around, basically, because you got like a 2.75 times attack boost to strength. They do health cut, they do healing at the end of that turn as well, so even though you don't kill the boss and you think you're going to die, at least they provide really good health recovery after you do your turn of attacks. They got a decent captain ability, they got an okay switch effect. I think this unit is definitely worthwhile if you are building mono strength, because they're just so good for those teams. Really good for strength garb challenges as well. One thing to note is that this unit does do health cut, right? So it does allow you to get around the stun debuff if you are applied with it. But then we've got Koala next. I think Koala is another middle tier unit. Like, she allows you to get an orb boost for your fighter characters, and she does a conditional boost, but she doesn't apply the condition herself. If you have the Kizuna Rare Recruit Bello Betty to attach to the Koala, then yeah, it's actually pretty good. But aside from that, yeah, it's pretty mid. I think Moria is actually like a tier 1 unit. Like, surprise, surprise. This Moria is like not actually that bad. He allows you to get like lots of matching slots, and he's an orb blocker, he's an orb booster, I think he's to strength, he might be to other colors as well. I remember specifically he was a strength orb booster, and you could get it for multiple turns. That was a good thing about it. He gave you the clock buff, so you could stack like perfect buffs on top of it. Mori is actually surprisingly good. I don't remember his captain ability off the top of my head, but I remember that his special was actually pretty usable. And then the Inupe guy, this is the support unit that came out with Moria. He's trash. You don't need to worry about that. We've got Big Mom. I think Big Mom is okay. I think Big Mom's like a relatively middle of the road kind of unit. She actually removes beneficial effects with her special, which is pretty uncommon. And she has an attack boost and a color affinity boosting special ability. And it's for like a certain amount of colors. She's a pretty good unit. I definitely think it's not bad and definitely worth picking up at some point, but not a unit that's going to help you clear every piece of content for sure. And same with Carrot. Like, she's got a good special ability. She actually removes all turns of increased defense off of the enemy, and she's an attack booster, she's a chain booster. She's pretty good, actually, but again, it's not a unit that you overtly need, right? But then we move on to a character who I think is probably one of the best Kizuna units that's ever released in the game, being the Luffy and Boa. Like, honestly, like, literally the #1 unit thus far that we've talked about. This unit is so crazy. Like, great captain ability, great switch ability, amazing special, orb block, full border slots, cyanite color affinity. It's a Luffy unit. What more is there to say? Like, Kizuna, Boa, and Luffy, legit one of the best units that we've talked about thus far, for sure. And we go from one of the best units that we've talked about to one of the worst, being Kaido. He is just bad in almost every facet. You just don't need him at all. And then you got Buggy, and I think Buggy's pretty good because he's got great utility, and if your captain is free spirit, you get a full board of matching slots. Really nice unit to have, and if you are having a free spirit captain, definitely a worthwhile pickup for sure. Now this one here, the Sakazuki and Borsalino, is a very interesting one because I have had this unit since he released, and I have never used him for content. Now I know that he is good. He has a slot bind and a special bind removing switch effect. His special ability needs a Psi or a strength captain, and then your Slasher and Driven can get a 2.75 times orb boost. Like, that's actually good, but like, you just don't need him. Like, as I said, I've had him since he's released, and I've never used him for content. Now, this could just be me, but I haven't needed him. But looking at what he does on paper, this unit is actually amazing. So I'm going to leave him in tier 1 for now, but I could definitely understand why people would put him in tier 0. I just personally haven't found too many instances where I've needed this unit. Now we've got Kizuna Kid. He's definitely in the top tier for me. I use him all the time. He has really good wave clearing, removes 4 turns of mob stages basically, and he has actually utility when you launch his special. He gets rid of enemy defensive effects, and he allows you to get around resilience buffs if you need to do that because of his end of turn damage. And he's in a damage dealing special, which would have been a nice addition, but despite that, still one of the best Kizuna units, definitely worth picking up. Kid also has a really good captain ability too for free to play units in general. We've got Hawkins, who I think is a tier 1 unit, great utility special. That's basically it. He's only utility, but it's a nice special. Capone is also a really nice special. Attack boost, orb block, orb change, just generically good, right? Just really, really nice. Same with the Robin and Nami. Like, just, again, a really, really solid unit, honestly. Well, you know what we might have to do is, because we have so many units here, I think we might have to, like, change these units. Like, might have to move some of these characters down in these tiers just so that we have them a little bit more organized. Because, I mean, if there's too many units in one tier, how do you really, like, you know, figure out which ones are the ones worth picking up, right? So I think the ones that should probably move down, I'm gonna say you, I'm gonna say you, I'm gonna say you. Even though I like this unit a lot though. Alright, so this is going to be the tier right now. This is what we're doing, okay? Moving on to King. I think King is around like here. He's not bad, but he's not amazing either. Actually, now that I remember, he actually does have a utility-based special, and he has multiple turn attack booster for quick. He's kind of similar to Ambush Linlin, where it's like after the 12th hit of the combo, it's a 2.25 boost to quick. So it's like, it's good, and it lasts for 3 turns as well, like Ambush Linlin. But again, like, there's just better quick units you could be using for attack boost. Kizuna Doflamingo I think is actually pretty solid. I really want to put him here, but I think he's probably the top of this tier. He extends the duration of chain lock, which is interesting, and he does remove enemy defensive effects. He does do adjacent slots matching too. He's fine. He's nothing broken. He's just like a middle of the road, kind of okay unit. You might use him sometimes, but not like a god tier broken unit like some of the other ones that we've seen up here. I think Kizuna Katakuri is ridiculously good. I'm going to put him like around here, to be honest. He is ridiculous. I mean, really good utility, gets rid of block slots, 3-turn, 2.75 chain lock, great classes, shooter powerhouse. He's a side type unit. This character is bonkers. And now we can talk about another tier 0 unit, which is going to be the Kuja Pirates. I think the Kuja Pirates are easily tier 0. They're like either the first or the second best unit in the game. I think I'm going to put Luffy Boa a little bit ahead, but the Kuja Pirates are redonkulous. I mean, their special ability granting good utility at getting rid of blue and rainbow shield, if I remember correctly, but then also giving you an attack boost to shooter and free spirit, and also if you have more than 50,000 HP, guarantee delay through immunity buffs, and a 1.5 conditional boost. Like, no one in the game does that with a special activation providing that much damage, so I think that it is easy tier 0, plus pretty good captain ability as well for a free-to-play unit. Brook is also another super solid unit. I'm going to put him in like around here. Brook is a good special, gets rid of 6 turns of rainbow shield and his attack and orb booster for like Psy and free spirit, so really good unit. It's a Brook unit. He has a couple of good supports too. Just a super solid unit all around. Same as Jack. Like, Jack, great captain ability, great special ability. I'm going to put him around here, to be honest. He might be better than Katakuri, but honestly, I use Katakuri a lot more, but Jack has only just recently released, so I haven't had too many instances where I want to actually use Jack, but Jack is a good unit on paper for sure. Now, this Ivankov is not out on global yet, but after reading what this unit does, I'm like, holy shit, this unit's amazing. So shout out to the database for this one. So the Ivankov is an int free spirit cerebral, captain ability giving those units 3.5 attack and also 1.2 HP, 3 times recovery at the end of the turn. But then the special ability, 100k fixed damage, so it's a damage dealing special, reduces rainbow shield and resilience by 5, empty block bomb badly matching into matching, and then also boost the attack of cerebral and free spirit by 2 times for 1 turn. Like, what a special ability. I mean, orb change, utility, damage, attack boost, and then also it is an int unit that does damage. You can have lore support, Halloween lore support to give your int characters matching slots, even if you're not using it on an int based team, just for free spirit and cerebral. That's great, plus making int beneficial to all characters as a crewmate ability. Like, what more could you ask for? This free to play Ivankov is amazing, and due to that I do want to put Ivankov relatively high. I'm going to put Ivankov actually above Brook. I think that this buggy is still kind of nice because he has better utility than what this Ivankov has, but still, this Ivankov, such a good unit, dude. And then we got another tier 0 unit in Kizuna Olin. Now, Kizuna Olin is very close to being like the top unit in the game, honestly, in terms of the free-to-play Kizuna units. I think she might be. I think Kizuna Olin probably is the best. Like, the utility that she has is so insane. Plus a 3-turn orb boost to Powerhouse, Driven, and Int. I mean, specifically, like, Powerhouse and Driven, the 2 best classes in the game, and Int being one of the best colors in the game. What more could you ask for, right? This unit is nuts. Kizuna Olin, I think, is definitely the best Kizuna unit that we've seen just in the game's history. It's so good. And then we got Rebecca, who I think is actually really underrated. I think this Rebecca is, like, here. Good captain ability, and a special ability that can provide a guaranteed defense down conditional. It has a huge chain boost as well on top of it, and damage reduction. Like, this Rebecca is great. And then the last unit is also not out on global yet, which is going to be Don Krieg Pirates. So once again, shout out to the database for the Krieg Pirates information. They are strength driven powerhouse. That combination just consistently appears in this game. It is crazy. Captain ability 3.75 to driven with a strength slot, 3.5 otherwise, 1.5 health, boost chances of strength slots appearing. They can't be blown away. That's pretty huge. 13 turn cooldown for a 10% health cut, damage dealing special. You love to see it. Badly matching and block slots do not reduce damage for 5 turns. Not a big fan of this. I would have preferred if it just changed them into matching, but it's fine. Also poisons all enemies, which is interesting. Reduces bind and despair by 5 turns and boosts the attack against poisoned enemies or strong poisoned enemies, or just any type of poison conditional, basically, 2 times for 1 turn, and then 90% damage reduction for 1 turn. Do they have a good support effect? No, they're just stats, unfortunately, but bruh, there you go. Krieg Pirates, pretty solid free-to-play unit. And I do think that Krieg Pirates are probably up here where Rebecca is. Like, man, it's really tough. And I think we might have to move some of these characters down. I do think Perispera is definitely worth picking up. And I do think that Hawkins is still pretty good because of his utility. Like, lots of good utility and damage-dealing specials here. And honestly, I do think that tier 0 here, we do have, like, Kid and Ace, for example. Ace, looking at it now, probably shouldn't be in tier 0 because honestly I think some of these units here are probably better than them, but at the same time they do provide something that not a lot of other characters in the game can do. I mean, a strength 2.75 times attack boost is amazing, and they have really good utility. And then Kid as well, just interesting in the fact that he can do really good wave clearing and he has utility in and of himself, good captain ability. But definitely these 3, Kuja, Olin, and then Luffy Boa, best 3 Kizuna units you can be picking up. So those are the ones I would suggest, and a lot of these characters in tier 1 very, very good pickups as well. But anyways, that is going to give you guys the breakdown of my opinion of the free-to-play Kizuna characters and which ones you should be picking up. And it's dependent on what other characters you have in your account. If you're building a really good striker or free spirit team, you potentially want to pick up characters like Kucha Pirates or Rebecca or Ivankov or Buggy, right? It just depends. But then, of course, if you're running a full strength team, you'd probably want to use the Ace. Or if you're running a driven powerhouse team with a lot of good driven powerhouse units like King, Queen, Moria versus Akainu. There's so many good units, right? You got Olin, you've got the Jack, you've got this guy, the Krieg Pirates, you've got, I mean, even this guy, he's a powerhouse unit as well, the Katakuri. It just depends on what you're building and what kind of characters you have and how you can synergize your character box with the rest of these free-to-play Kizuna characters. So hopefully this gives you guys a bit of insight into my opinion about it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video today. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.